Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to Season 9 of the Lions Den Quiz League. We are back not too long after the end of the last season for yet another one. Still haven't uploaded the Season 8 Championship, but I believe I will do that before I put this one out. Also haven't uploaded the Season 6 Championship. Sorry about that. I swear I'll get to that eventually. Anyway, we're back. Benny and Looney are back with another awesome set of questions. Just really happy to have this back as always because it's a blast. So we will start, as always, with quiz number 1, General Knowledge. The Lion Roars, written by Benny. Question number 1. Robert Prevost took on the name Leo XIV after being elected Pope at the recent papal conclave. He worked in Italy as an archbishop and cardinal starting in 2023, but before that he was the bishop of the diocese centered in which South American city? I believe it is Chiclayo in Peru. I know it's in Peru, and I think it's one of the Chi ones. I'm like slightly worried that it's Chimbote, but I'm pretty sure it's Chiclayo. It's going to be a little embarrassing if I'm wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure it's Chiclayo. Like I know it's definitely, anyway, whatever. I already said this. I don't know why I'm saying everything twice. Fairly confident. Question 2. The Tolstoy farm, named for Leo Tolstoy, was established by what man during part of his time spent in South Africa? Tolstoy and this man wrote letters back and forth after this man was inspired by a letter Tolstoy wrote to someone else that asserts, "Do not resist the evildoer and take no part in doing so, and no one in the world will be able to enslave you." So, this one is interesting. I think I came up with a pretty good answer. I'm going to go ahead and say Gandhi here because I'm quite sure that Gandhi, during his younger years, did spend time in South Africa. That's definitely something I've heard before. And I feel like the quote just kind of makes sense for Gandhi. Like, do not resist the evildoer. It's more just like kind of silent, non-violent protest kind of stuff, which just kind of sounds like what he was about. So I feel like it makes a lot of sense, and I know that Gandhi was in South Africa at some point. So that'll be my guess there. Question 3. Besides his paintings, one of the works Leonardo da Vinci is best known for is the sketch below. The title references what Roman architect who has posited that the ideal human shape fits inside both a circle and a square. This is the Vitruvian Man, and the architect himself would be Vitruvius. Question number 4. Brazilian soccer player Leonardo Araujo was on Brazil's national team when they won the 1994 World Cup, though he was one of 3 subs who did not play in the final. What other player, a phenomenon who was only 17 during the World Cup, is one of the other subs who sat on the bench for all of the final? Unlike Leonardo, this player did not play at all in that World Cup, but he would play the next 3. So this question was annoying me at the start because I was like, wait a second, how am I supposed to know who this is? Because there are obviously a lot of famous Brazilian soccer players, many of whom played around that time, and I don't really know which one to pick. My first thought was maybe it's Ronaldinho. But then I read the question a little more closely and I realized, wait a second, the word phenomenon I think is a clue here because Ronaldo, Ronaldo Nazario, the other Ronaldo, was known as o fenomeno in Portuguese. So fenomeno, I think that's a clue. And I think it would make sense that that's a clue because otherwise it's really difficult to narrow this down based off of only the stuff that's given unless you have very specific knowledge of the history here. So I think Ronaldo, I think the phenomenon is, my guess is that that's a clue. I might be wrong, and maybe it is Ronaldinho, and I'm going to be really sad, but I think Ronaldo makes a bunch of sense given the wording of the question. Question 5, Gillian Anderson, or Gillian, it's probably Gillian, whose astrological sign is Leo, played Doctor turned FBI agent Dana Scully on what TV series? Her co-star in the series, David Duchovny, played another FBI agent with a strong belief in supernatural phenomena. I think this is the X-Files. I think Scully is the X-Files, although, again, I don't know because I haven't seen this, but Scully came up recently in another trivia thing, and I was like, I need to remember this name. I'm pretty sure it was from the X-Files, but again, it's possible that I'm misremembering, which would be a little tough. Anyway, finally, question 6. Richard the Lionheart was an English king with what regnal number? Other English monarchs with this number include William the Conqueror and both daughters of Henry VIII to be crowned queen. So Richard the Lionheart is Richard I. The others I wouldn't have known. I mean, William being the first makes sense, but I wouldn't have been totally sure about. And I don't know the Henry VIII daughters at all. Like, oh wait, I do. Never mind. Elizabeth I, right? She was the daughter of Henry VIII. Yeah, okay. I'm not sure the other one is, but I think Elizabeth I is the daughter of Henry VIII. Anyway, Richard I is definitely Richard the Lionheart. So no problems there, except I should probably type 1 instead of Richard 1 because I don't want to not get credit for writing the wrong thing. Okay, well, I feel like I've done well with this quiz, to be honest. I think I'm going to actually enhance Chiclayo. Maybe this is a bad idea because it's very current eventsy, but also even if you know a decent amount about the conclave and all the recent events with the Pope, you still might not know about Chiclayo because that seems kind of niche to me. You might know about Peru, but not necessarily the city. So I will enhance 1. Might be a mistake, but I don't know. Gonna go for it anyway. Chiclayo Peru is correct. Mahatma Gandhi, Vitruvius, Ronaldo, let's go. The X-Files, and 1. That is 6 out of 6, and that is the perfect start to the week and to the season. Love that. Now it's going to go downhill. There are a few quizzes in here that are not going to go very well for me. I'm going to tell you that up front, but I'm happy with the start. So let's get on to quiz number 2, which is called I Hope You Were Curious 8, I think, which is, again, sort of derivative questions from previous ones. First, in Season 8, Week 1, we asked about the knowledge which tests London cab drivers on their navigational ability. 2000 study found that after studying, drivers showed increased levels of gray matter in what part of the brain that is crucial for spatial navigation and memory formation. No idea. I mean, I know some parts of the brain. I don't know what they do. I don't know what any of them do. I mean, there's the lobes, like the parietal and the temporal and the frontal and the occipital, and then there's the hippocampus, and then there's the cerebellum, and there's the cerebrum, and there's the freaking prefrontal cortex, and whatever. There's a bunch of them. But I don't know what the things do, unfortunately, so I'm going to say prefrontal cortex and probably be wrong. Question 2. In week 2, we asked about laconic phrases or short sayings attributed to ancient Spartans. Another notable laconic phrase is molon labe, which is most famously uttered by what Spartan to Xerxes I, sparking the battle of Thermopylae. So presumably it's Leonidas. I mean, if it's not, I don't know who it is. So it's surely Leonidas. Is this is Sparta, by the way? Like, is this like what he actually said? Or because in the movie it's what? It's like a messenger or something, and he's like, "This is Sparta," and he like kicks him into a well or whatever. Obviously fictional, dramatized, but maybe this is what that comes from. I'm not actually sure. Question 3. In week 3, we asked about Halle Berry, among other Berries. Right after her appearance in the much-derided Catwoman, Berry starred as Janie Crawford in a TV film based on what novel by Zora Neale Hurston, etc., etc. I know one novel by Zora Neale Hurston, so I hope it's this one. But their eyes were watching God is by far her most famous work, so presumably that is what's going on. Question 4. In week 4, we asked about Metallica's Black Album. Another album titled The Black Album was released in 2003 by what rapper? Many tracks, such as Public Service Announcement, or one that starts with this rapper saying, "I got the Rap Patrol on the Gap Patrol," were mashed up by the producer Danger Mouse with songs from the White Album to create a compilation called the Gray Album. I don't know. I mean, just guess a rapper who was active in 2003. Let's go with Jay-Z. I have no idea. It's a total guess. Question 5. In week 5, we asked about N'Djamena, the only city in IQ Air's list of the 50 most polluted cities in the world to not be in Asia. The next highest ranking non-Asian city at position 74 is what capital city, which lies on the south end of the Malebo Pool. The Malebo Pool is the part of the Congo River that separates Brazzaville from Kinshasa. So the one on the south end of it is Kinshasa in the DRC. And finally, question 6. In the Season 8 championship, we asked about guests at the wedding between Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. There were surprisingly few politicians on the guest list. The only local politician invited was what former British Prime Minister who signed the EU forming Maastricht Treaty and was followed by Labour politician Tony Blair. Don't know. I don't know British PMs. I mean, I know some. I think Brown is a guy. I don't even remember his first name, like Gordon Brown or something. But to be honest, I think that has a low chance of being correct. But I think that is a British PM who is relatively recent. If it's pre-Blair, like it's not going to be Cameron, it's not going to be May or anything like that. So I got to go with, yeah, someone I think is probably hopefully before. But yeah, this is about all I can say really. So I will enhance Their Eyes Were Watching God because I don't think that's easy. Because a lot of people don't know who Zora Neale Hurston is in the first place. And then, yeah, I think that's about it. I hope Leonidas, surely I don't need a regnal number for that, right? They would tell me if I did. He's probably just the first anyway, but he's just known as Leonidas, so that should be right. Anyway, I think I have like 3 out of 6 here, maybe like 4 if I get really lucky on one of these, but it's possible. I mean, all of my guesses I think are reasonable. I just think they're unlikely to be right. So, chimneys. Sure. Oh, that is not okay. There we go. It's better. Hippocampus, unlucky. Leonidas the first. Their eyes were watching God. Jay-Z. Let's go. I guessed one of them right. John Major, I've heard of. Probably wasn't going to say that, but should have. I should know that. I should know the order. Hippocampus, again, I'm pretty sure that was one of the things I listed. I just said the wrong thing because I don't know the difference between any of the things. But hey, I got lucky on Jay-Z. So honestly, that felt like the one that maybe had the least chance of being correct of the three. So that's kind of wild, but I'll take it. But that is a 4 out of 6 on quiz 2. Quiz number 3. Smokin'. Alrighty then. And in case I don't see a good afternoon, good evening, and good night are all catchphrases for characters played by what actor? Pretty sure this is Jim Carrey because I think that the last one is from The Truman Show. I've seen that movie. It's been a long time. I remember it being very good though. But I'm pretty sure that is the line from The Truman Show. So I will go with Jim Carrey. Question 2. The catchphrase "just one more thing" is a hallmark of what detective who usually said it dramatically just as he was about to leave a room. He titles a show that popularized the How Catch 'Em mystery format, meaning that the viewer sees the actual crime being carried out before watching the detective come in and attempt to solve it. So this is one of those things where I know very few fictional detectives that even exist. There are a few that come up in trivia on occasion. I don't know anything about any of them. I'm going to say Columbo because this is a very famous fictional detective who has come up kind of a crazy amount recently, and I keep missing questions about him, and I want to stop doing that. So hopefully this is right, although again, it's probably just another one, maybe one that I haven't even heard of, but yeah, this is all I've got. I am not a pop culture guru, that is for sure. On what American reality show are contestants often reminded that in its central industry, one day you're in, the next day you're out? Its original host regularly said Auf Wiedersehen to eliminated contestants. I don't know. I'm going to say The Apprentice because it's like Donald Trump or whatever. Didn't he say like you're gone or you're out, something like that? I don't know. I'm just guessing a reality show that exists. I mean, I'm sure the German thing is a clue, but I have no idea what shows like had German precursors or whatever, or hosts or whatever the heck. So, basically, I have no idea. Question 4: We the Best Music Group is a record label founded by what Miami-based producer and named after one of the many catchphrases he shouts, which also include another one and his own name in songs like Wild Thoughts and I'm the One. This is DJ Khaled. Another one is, I don't know, it's just a thing that he says, I guess. Again, I don't really know anything about him. He just exists and says things. I don't know. Question 5. It's a good thing is a catchphrase often used by what lifestyle personality who rose to fame for her homemaking shows and cookbooks, but is perhaps better known for her stint in jail due to insider trading and unexpected friendship with Snoop Dogg. This is Martha Stewart. Again, not somebody I know really anything about other than that she's friends with Snoop Dogg, so, you know, it works. Finally, question 6. Give the 3-word sentence that Dustin Hoffman improvised after a taxi cab unexpectedly ran a red light and almost hit him while filming the NYC set 1969 film Midnight Cowboy. He says the sentence twice after shouting "hey" and slapping the taxi. I don't know. Watch It's Pal. Like, again, no clue. Could be absolutely anything. I don't know this. I've never seen this movie, and there's no way I'm going to get this, so just throw out a guess. Finally, what do I enhance? The only ones I feel confident about are DJ Khaled, Martha Stewart, and I'm pretty sure Jim Carrey is right. I think I'll enhance Carrey because 4 and 5 feel easier, but maybe DJ Khaled is like less known, like outside the US, maybe. Like, I don't know, but I feel like he's pretty famous though. Martha Stewart, I think, is quite famous, but I think 1 feels like a better idea, but maybe I'm completely misjudging the difficulty of these questions. We shall see. Okay, that was wrong. That's cool. Lovely. Just those ones. Nice. Jim Carrey, nice. The Mask, Ace Ventura, and Truman. Yeah, Truman Show. Columbus actually correct. Unbelievable. Project Runway. Okay. DJ Khaled, Martha Stewart. I'm walking here. 6 is unguessable. I mean, there's no way I'm getting that without knowing it. 3, I mean, I've heard of Project Runway. It's about all I can say. I mean, it's some like fashion thing, I think, but that's, again, I don't know a thing about it, so that wasn't going to happen. And then, yeah, 4 out of 6 on a pop culture quiz for me. Totally fine. Columbo was lucky. So, yeah, I'm happy about the result there, to be honest. Quiz 4. Really cool quiz that has a lot of really cool pictures in it. What country is home to the practice of stilt fishing seen below called Ritipana? Practice began in the mid-1900s after overfishing made conventional fishing methods hard, but this stilt fishing has itself become more difficult after a 2004 tsunami that killed over 200,000 people worldwide, including 30,000 in this country. So, the Indian Ocean earthquake tsunami thing, I mean, it hit Indonesia the hardest, but it also hit, well, most countries that have coasts on the Indian Ocean. Like it hit, I think, Malaysia, I think it hit Thailand, but it very notably hit Sri Lanka as well. And I think that the word Ritipana sounds very, I don't know how to explain it, but as I guess as somebody who has seen a lot of place names in Sri Lanka just through playing it in GeoGuessr, that word sounds very Sri Lankan to me. And I do think that Sri Lanka was hit pretty hard, like the East Coast, like Barikaloa, etc. were definitely hit by that disaster. So I think this makes a lot of sense. I'm not 100% sure. It could be India, but it just seems, I don't know, it seems less likely to me. Because I've looked up the tsunami before, and I remember reading for sure that it hit Sri Lanka pretty hard. Question 2, pictured below are 2 of the Nubian species of what animal? These wild goats are noted for their large curved horns. Incredible photo. I'm gonna say ibex because I think that's what these are. Although I do worry when it comes to like goats and antelopes and stuff, because I feel like there are multiple things. Like I feel like there are other types of wild goats that look relatively similar, and I might be confusing the ibex with the other ones, but I'm pretty sure the ibexes are the ones that have these horns. Like they're the ones that like climb the dams and stuff. I'm pretty sure these are ibexes, but I can't be 100%. Question 3, the plants seen below, Nothofagus gunni and Nothofagus pumilio, are both part of the Nothofagus genus, despite the fact that one is native to Australia and the other is native to Chile and Argentina. This is because they evolved while Australia and South America were both part of what supercontinent, one of 2 formed when Pangaea split apart, also included Antarctica and Africa. This one is Gondwana or Gondwana land, the other being Laurasia. These are just the 2 supercontinents that came after Pangaea. And yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure Gondwana is the one that had Africa and all the rest in it. So should be correct, I believe. Question 4, seen below is Montana's Hyalite Lake, which is named for hyalite, a variety of what mineral? This mineral gives its name to a phenomenon in which light passing through a semi-transparent material is refracted and changes colors, which is why this mineral can appear iridescent when light shines on it. I don't know. I thought about this one for a while, and it felt like something that's like I should know what this is, but I kind of just don't. I haven't really been able to think of anything reasonable for this. So I'm going to say topaz because, I don't know, that is certainly a mineral that exists. I think it's a mineral at least. I mean, it's a gemstone. I don't even know what the difference is, to be quite honest. Yeah, I don't know. Topaz. Total guess, but I'm giving up on this one because I can't think of anything better. Question 5, what type of fish, identified by the lure on the top of its head, is seen below? Presumably this is an anglerfish, like the one that is in Finding Nemo, etc. But the little, light thing is kind of a famous feature of the anglerfish. And finally, question 6, both of the photos below were taken on what group of islands? I have no idea what's going on here. Like, I'm going to say Galapagos because I know that the Galapagos have a ridiculous amount of, like, endemic species that you don't see anywhere else. So it's like, here are some photos of some weird animals you've never seen before. What group of islands are we on? I'm going to say Galapagos, but I have no idea if that's actually correct because I don't know what these animals are. Like, I can't even tell if the thing in the right is an animal or if it's just like some kind of weird plant. Like, are they like crabs or something? Like, genuinely, no clue what's going on here. But I have to say Galapagos. I thought for a while, and I was like, I cannot think of anything better for this. Like, there's no way that another answer is going to feel better to me than this. So, gotta go with it. And then as for what to enhance, honestly, do I go Sri Lanka? Nah. Do I? What if it's wrong though? Like, I don't know. I don't think it's wrong, but are people just gonna get it because it's like a GeoGuessr server or whatever, and they'll recognize the name as being Sri Lankan? Ritipana. I don't know. I think I'll enhance 3. I think that it's safer. I'm not 100% sure about Sri Lanka. I'm like 99.9 about Gondwana. So it just feels like the hardest one of the ones that I'm confident about. Maybe Sri Lanka's a better decision, but it's always possible that I'm confusing it for something else. It is Sri Lanka. Okay. Gondwana, Opal. Dang it. Opal. Man, I don't know anything about gemstones, but Opal, I guess it's like, I'm trying to remember. I guess it is like kind of rainbowy, isn't it? When you, yeah, I don't know. When you say opal to me, I guess I don't really have an image in my head, but now that I think about it, I don't know. I don't know, to be honest. I need to just look them up and learn what they all look like because that's kind of a skill issue. But um, I guess I've seen. I think if you showed me a picture of an opal, I probably would be like, yeah, I've seen this before, but I might not have been able to tell you it was an opal, if that makes sense. Anyway, unlucky, but 5 out of 6, it is actually the Galapagos, which is a little bit fortunate. So, yeah, I guess when in doubt, guess the Galapagos. Quiz 5. A burette is a tall glass tube. This is a science quiz, by the way, with a rotating stopper at the bottom, which is commonly used in what lab technique? In this lab technique, which is frequently done in high school classrooms, a liquid with a known concentration is slowly added to a liquid with unknown concentration until an equilibrium is reached, etc., etc. This is called titration. I did this I was going to say one too many times, but realistically, it's a lot more than one. Way too many times in chem class, and I don't need to do it again. But yeah, this is just what titration is. Question 2. The phrase phospholipid bilayer is heard frequently in the cellular biology portion of bio classes. It refers to what part of a cell which is made up of 2 layers of polar phospholipid molecules facing in opposite directions. This is the cell membrane. That is just what it's made of. The bilayer is just kind of it's just kind of well, I don't know. It's what the membrane is made of. Question 3. In physics classes, students learn that light is made of photons, and photons can have different frequencies, producing visible light or invisible radiation. We can measure this invisible radiation, such as in the thermal imaging seen below, which uses sensors for what type of electromagnetic radiation given off by warm objects like humans. Those sensors allow for instruments that can see through walls and other barriers. I think this is infrared. Like, I think that infrared, like, cameras or infrared sensors or whatever, are the ones that look like this. The ones that, I don't know. Like, when I see this picture, I just think it's like an infrared image, basically. So I didn't really realize that it was about heat specifically, like warm objects. But I'm pretty sure that this is just infrared imaging. Question 4. When studying chemical reactions, it's useful to know whether the reaction will proceed spontaneously, i.e. without assistance, or whether it will require some sort of catalyst. You can figure this out by calculating the change in what quantity, denoted G. If G is negative, change in G is negative, the reaction will be spontaneous. This is the Gibbs free energy. There's the whole, like, ghost equation and whatnot. Again, somewhat unwelcome flashbacks from chem class, but G is definitely the Gibbs free energy. And now we get to the last 2 questions, and I do not know the answer to these ones. During a biology unit on vitamins and nutrients, school children may learn about which disease, which is a deficiency in vitamin B1, thiamine. Don't know. This is something I should know because this has come up in a bunch of trivia things before, and I think Looney and Benny are probably going to shake their heads at me for not remembering this. But there are a lot of vitamin deficiencies, and I can never remember which is which. And I thought about this for a while, and I just can't think of a good answer. I'm going to say rickets, and I'm pretty sure rickets is vitamin D, not B1, but I just can't think of what it is. And I'm going to, 100% I will have heard it once I see the answer, but I'm just not going to know it. Finally, question 6. In physics, fields like the magnetic field can be hard to visualize. One way educators might visualize the magnetic field is by using what material seen below, which is a liquid that deforms in mesmerizing ways when a magnet is brought near it due to magnetic particles suspended in the liquid. Now, it's cool. It looks cool, but I have no idea what this is. Like, absolutely no idea. Which is, I don't know. Like, it feels like this is something I should know, but I just don't. So I'm gonna say like hydrous iron or something, because it's like, I know that iron is magnetic, right? Like ferromagnetism, etc. So I'm thinking, okay, if this is a liquid form of some kind of magnetic thing, it might be iron, because that's just the metal I associate the most with magnetism. And then I just well, it's not just going to be iron, so I added a watery word to the front of it. But to be honest, I have no idea what this is. Like, I don't know. This feels like the type of thing that I should have come across at some point, but I have no idea what's going on. So unlucky. I think it's going to be 4 out of 6, but that's okay. I think I will enhance number probably 1, honestly. Or is 4? Do people remember Gibbs free energy? What's more easy to remember? Titration or Gibbs free energy? 2 and 3 feel easier, but I don't know. I'm gonna say 1. I feel like this is harder, but I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. All right, bridges. Yeah, we'll see. Okay. 4 out of 6 is expected. Ferrofluid? That's like literally what I said, except that's crazy. I literally said hydrous iron, and the answer was basically iron fluid. Like, that's kind of wild. At the same time, though, I was never going to get that right because I've never heard of a ferrofluid in my life. I'm kind of happy with myself for getting as far as I did, but that's another thing where it's like, if you've never heard this term, you're not getting that. So I did what I could. Berry, that is 100% a skill issue. Again, I've absolutely heard of that disease multiple times before. I've heard it in reference to deficiency of vitamins, whatever. But I just never remember. I never remember the answers to any of these. So, or the names of any of these. So, yeah, it's tough, man. But 4 out of 6 works. I mean, I got the rest. Those were a little bit more basic in terms of like you learn this in high school science. So I think for a STEM quiz, I have to be okay with that. It's not my strongest suit, not my weakest either. But I'm no scientist, so I'm all right with it. Quiz 6, the names of the instruments seen below, which are higher pitch variants of more common instruments, specifically the trombone and saxophone, are distinguished from their more common counterparts with the inclusion of what word, which is more common in vocal performance. So vocal performance, I mean, you think of, bass, baritone, tenor, alto, soprano, that kind of thing. I don't know. Alto, I mean, I know that it says higher, right? It's higher pitch variance, so alto is one of the higher. I mean, soprano is the other high one, right? Because they're both female voice registers, basically. But I don't know. I know that an alto sax is a thing, so like that's probably what this is. Hopefully, I don't know though. It could be soprano. I've never heard of a soprano saxophone in my life, but I mean, it certainly could be. But I'm gonna go alto because I know that an alto sax is a thing, and I know that alto is higher than your average pitch, so I think it makes sense. Question 2. In a novella by H.G. Wells, the unnamed protagonist goes to an unfamiliar land to discover 2 races of creatures, the Eloi and the Morlocks. The novel is titled for what contraption, which allowed the protagonist to travel to the land of the Eloi and Morlocks. This is The Time Machine. Or just Time Machine, I guess. But yeah, the novel's called The Time Machine. Or novella, I guess. Question 3. This iconic photo of the Earth was taken by astronauts on the Apollo 17 space mission. The photograph's title compares the Earth at such a small scale to an example of what object? Now, I have a guess for this, but I feel like it's wrong and it's bugging me. So I feel like the famous picture of the Earth is called the pale blue dot. But this looks like more than a pale blue dot. Like, I feel like pale blue dot refers to the Earth at a really, really far away scale where it's literally just a dot in the sky. But this photo is obviously quite a bit larger than that, so it's making me worry that it's not the same thing. But at the same time, I haven't heard of another famous photo of the Earth that has a name like this, so I feel like I have to say pale blue dot because otherwise I don't really stand a chance. Question 4, also known as a thumb piano, what name is given to the small African instrument that is played by plucking some of the instrument's metal bars with the thumb or index finger and allowing these bars to resonate? Again, I don't know what these questions are, man. I'm going to go marimba because that is an African, I think, xylophone-esque instrument. I don't think it looks like this, but it might be. And again, I don't have another answer. So this quiz is like kicking my butt, by the way. Like, I don't know what these questions are, but this quiz is a killer. Question 5. Which story is smaller than normal in the following ways? It is shorter than most great works of fiction, setting a mostly deserted island, and main characters Jack, Piggy, and Ralph. This is, of course, Lord of the Flies. Fairly easy question, I think, although maybe it's harder for people not in the US, but I feel like in the US, basically everybody reads that in high school or middle school. Question 6. Pictured below are sculptures in Alberto Giacometti's Walking Man series, which are as tall as a human, but much smaller in every other dimension. He was part of what artistic movement set primarily in Italy during the early 1900s? Believed that Italy's museums full of old art were boring and oppressive, finding value in things in speed, dynamism, industry. I'm going to say futurism because, I don't know, if you think old things are boring and you want to do new things, then it's the future, so it's futurism. I don't know. I don't know art movements. I certainly don't know their core tenets. I mean, I know the names of some of them, but I don't really know what they're about. So I guess that's on me. But yeah, this quiz has not gone well. I do not feel very good about most of these questions, but I'm going to enhance 2 because it's one of the 2 questions I am confident that I have correct, and Lord of the Flies I think is easier, so we shall see. Buses. Okay, man. It's not a bus, it's a van. Absolute nonsense, man. I assume I'm not supposed to click this one, even though it's very obviously in this one. Great. Futurism is correct. Let's go. Soprano, for God's sake, man. I've never heard of a soprano saxophone. Maybe it's just because it's less common. I mean, it makes sense that it exists, but like an alto sax, I know is a thing. It's like I'm just gonna guess that. Oh God, Blue Marble. I don't think I've heard of that. I've only ever heard Pale Blue Dot, and then Mbira. That is crazy. Surely the get rate on that is like 10%, right? Or is this just me not knowing something that everybody knows? I've never heard of this before. Like 4 is crazy, but I don't know. Maybe it's easier than I think, but that seems kind of wild. So that's 3 out of 6, and one of them was a lucky guess. So yeah, tough. I should have just said soprano, man, because it said high, but like I don't know. Alto's a fairly high voice, isn't it? So I don't think that's that bad a guess. It's just I don't know enough. I don't know music things. I mean, arts and lit, but this was definitely I don't know. There was a couple literature questions. There was one art question, and then there was just yeah, one I guess scientific photo counts as an art question mark, and then the other 2 were just music, which yeah, music is definitely the weakest of those 3 categories for me. Tough. Quiz 7, finally. A party known as the PKK seeks the independence of a state with what name? Currently, that name refers to a general Middle Eastern region defined by the spread of a certain ethnic group and encompassing parts of Turkey, Syria, Iraq, and Iran. This is Kurdistan. And, of course, the ethnic group are the Kurds. Question 2. At a 1982 concert in San Francisco, Bono saw a fan holding a sign saying SF plus U2 and went on a rant after misinterpreting the SF as not meaning San Francisco, but instead, presumably, Sinn Féin, which is, or Sinn Féin, is it Féin or Fine? Sinn Féin? I think it's Sinn Féin. Anyway, it has an accent here too, but I don't have accents. Oh, wait, I do have accents. Oh my God. This is life-changing. I forgot that what is it? Oh, nope, that didn't work. Tough. Well, I'm not going to submit it with a euro sign because I want to get credit for my answer, but, well, I tried, didn't I? I still need to figure out how to use this accents thingamajig. All right. Yeah, Sinn Féin. Anyway, it's like I think it's like a nationalist political party in Ireland, basically. Question 3: a British anti-monarchist political party that opposed the Tories and whose members include Robert Walpole, shares what name with an American political party that formed to oppose Andrew Jackson and splintered over the expansion of slavery? I think this is the Whig Party. The Whig Party was definitely a thing in the U.S. for a while in the 1800s. There were several Whig presidents, and I'm pretty sure that there was a Whig Party in the UK as well. So I think it just makes sense. What leader of the Golkar Party instituted a 32-year New Order regime that lasted until his 1998 resignation? His New Order was in contrast to the old order of guided democracy established by his predecessor, Sukarno. So the successor to Sukarno is Suharto as president or prime minister or whatever it is of Indonesia. Question 5. The Novia Ljudi, the Rodina, and the Građanskaya Platforma are three of the parties represented in what legislative body? It is the lower house of its country's federal assembly and shares its name with a similar legislative body founded in 1905. This is insane. I have no idea what the lower house of the Federal Assembly of presumably Russia is called. Like, no idea. I'm going to say the Russian Senate. But I have no clue. Question 6. The female minister Mayawati leads the Bahujan Samaj Party, which initially formed in Uttar Pradesh to represent what group? The often persecuted lowest section of the caste system. The lowest section of the caste system is the Untouchables. I think, well, okay, is it? Like, I feel like the Untouchables are, like, so low that they're, like, not in the... Do they count as a caste? Like, that's what I worry about. Like, I don't think they're technically a caste, right? But surely that's still the answer, right? What would it be otherwise? Is it like the Shudra, I think, is the bottom one? It's like Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra, I think, are the four. But I think surely it's just once Untouchables, right? The lowest section. I have to say Untouchables for this. I hope that I'm not trolling, but I think I have to say that. And then maybe Sinn Féin is the money here. Is it? But it's European though. Like, I don't know. There are a lot of Europeans playing these quizzes. They might just know the Irish party. Like, it's not... That's definitely knowable. I don't know, honestly. It's kind of hard to know what I should go for here. I'm going to go with it. Could be a mistake. Not sure. We shall see. Untouchables is correct, or Dalits. I did not know that. The State Duma. What the hell? Okay. Never heard of that in my life. Yeah, if you know the political structure of Russia, then fair play. You deserve that point, but that was not happening for me. But that is 5 out of 6, and I will certainly take that. I was never getting question 5, so yeah, that's a solid week. It is only, 5:45 p.m. I think I'm going to have to end the recording and come back later and go over the scores, because the deadline's still in, 3 hours, 15 minutes, so I think pausing is a little bit too risky. So yeah, I guess I will see you guys in a sec, and we will see how I did for week 1. All right, quick recap of week number 1. I finished in 10th place in the end, which I think is maybe slightly lower than I expected, but not so bad. I still only like 4.5 points or so off of first place. So yeah, not much else for me to say. Thanks, of course, as always, to Looney and Benny for putting the questions together and doing such a wonderful job with them. Sorry for the late upload here. Again, I say that a lot, but I should be able to get week 2 out probably just a day or two after this one. I'll get this championship out soon after that, and then, well, we'll keep on. But yeah, thank you for watching week number 1. Hope you're glad to see the LDQL back, and I'll see you very soon for week 2. Bye.